Okay, well, I went back to change batteries after finishing up at the pond there. And I was having trouble getting my batteries to charge. So I have two batteries on me, both of them at 21%, which should combine to be enough to do this last 2/3 of Tranquility Loop. And rain is coming in 2 hours. I mean, it's this really tight window. It's possible I'm pushing a river here. And you know, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work, and I'll just try again tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? But the light is nice right now, and I'm gonna try. So probably I'll have to switch batteries in 10 minutes or so here, maybe 20 minutes, and try to get all this on video for you. Anyway, we're just gonna give it a go. We're gonna give it a go. We're gonna see what happens. So we left off last time, slow pan, at this intersection, you know. Here's the yellow path heads this way to the pond. There's the pond right up there where we left off at the last video. And here's the other section of the yellow path that goes to Lakeshore Drive in Lake Michigan over there. And here's Tranquility Loop. And so now we're gonna start the last 2/3 of the walk, and we'll just see how far my batteries get us. You know, let's just give it a go. Yeah, we'll see what happens. And this is more a smooth jaunt. There's not too much to talk about here that you haven't seen before in at least in the May videos from May of this past year in the spring. Look at that, gorgeous. That holly is doing so good. It's got noticeably bigger since I removed all the sassafras around it that was taking away all its water. And little white flowers all over it about a month ago. I think it's gonna be covered in berries for the first time this fall. I'm very excited about that tree. Anytime you find a holly or a healthy cedar like this guy, you know, you really want to try to get the diversity of species to come back, you know, because the sassafras, and to a degree the sugar maple, which are also so prolific, you know, those two species have really made it difficult for a lot of other species to do well around here. So the forest wants to be a little more diverse. So as I keep taking sassafras out, I think the other species are really gonna boom. I think it's gonna become a really nice ecosystem of about 12 to 15 different species. Right now it's primarily 2 with a smattering of others, you know. So, yeah. So we're cruising along here. This is on the back side. This is on the south side of the property, headed west towards the lake. Here is the little rhododendron garden I've planted. I've got 8 rhododendrons in now. And they're all the same species except one. This one right here will get to be like 8 by 10 to provide a little bigger effect, but everybody else gets to be about 6 by 6. These 6 rhododendrons here will form a contiguous 6-foot wall around that little table to give some privacy for whoever wants to sit there and have tea and look up at this majestic person. Look at that sugar maple, would you? Come on. That's incredible. Just incredible, that tree. Heavens to Betsy. Then I got a bench over there, of course, and I'm gonna put in 4 more rhododendrons here at least, one right there. I'll put in one back behind that guy. I'll put in one right here, and I'll probably drop one right there on that corner. And then this rhododendron garden will be set next spring, and I'll just let them grow in, and we'll see where I go from there. And I'm going to cut out a lot of these smaller sassafras here, so that the sun goes across here. So if I cut out a lot of these sassafras, I should get enough light on these guys that they bloom every spring. They bloomed beautifully this past spring, so I'm hoping for lots of colorful things. We'll see how that experiment goes, but they're very happy there. And of course, rhododendrons are a fantastic plant to use. They like this soil, and if you amend the soil with, you know, pine bark and other acidic stuff, they get really big here in this land. They like the rainfall here. They like the light here. They like these woods, and they get really big, and the deer don't eat them. So it's just a wonderful plant to work with. And if they get enough sun, of course, they create beautiful flowers that the bees and butterflies love. So I'm going to try to do a lot of work with rhododendrons here over the next few years and see what I can do with them. Anyway, that's that thought. Here's Serenity Valley. We'll get a better look at what I'm doing from up on the ridge here. I'm going to take a right turn here and get up on the ridge, but generally, I'm trying to clear it so that the entire valley looks like this, with all the detritus moved to the right, the left, and up there diagonally to the left. And progress is being made. There's a lot of work. And I'll be able to show you more how that's going to look from up here. But it's a very special spot. This is one of the visions I had that has been most clear. And a lot of people, when they see this, don't quite get it because it has so much. I had to cut down so many sassafras trees. And, you know, they're very heavy chunks of wood, and there are thousands of them. So this just takes time. And it's kind of hard for people to imagine how this is going to look. But I can see how it's going to look. And it is going to be a haven of happiness for many, many, many creatures. And sitting on this bench right here, overlooking this, is going to be something else when I get done. So you can kind of see over there how am I doing on the battery? Okay, we're good. How I cleared out around that big pile over there. And I cleared out around this pile over here. And I cleared out around this pile here. You see, so I'm kind of doing that so that then I can borrow my friend's gator, because it's just so many tons. I mean, every one of those logs weighs 60 to 80 pounds. Every single chunk you see. Some of them weigh more than that, but on average you're looking at 60 to 80 pounds per chunk. And they're just, I mean, many hundreds of them. So what I'll end up doing is moving as much as I can with my hand and with wheelbarrow, and then I'll get my friend's gator and I'll just back up to these piles, load it up and drive back and forth and dump here and throw into this pile and consolidate as much as I can here and or in this serpentine wall. You can kind of see in the distance that I'm making of detritus, which runs like that. I've already set the wall. I just have to fill it in with as much stuff as possible. And that's going to be really a beautiful feature with two holes, one here with nothing in it, and there's one right there, so that the deer can easily go where they want to go without feeling trapped by the wall. So that's going to be amazing. The barred owl has already been seen here hunting, and someone, my neighbor, saw a bald eagle who lives nearby hunting in here the other day, flying right here, right through here along this path. Bald eagles apparently use rodents for 20% of their diet. They don't only eat fish, which I didn't know. And so this is like hunter's paradise for any animal, any bird of prey looking for a rodent. I mean, this is the place to come now, especially as I keep clearing more and more hunting spaces while providing more and more refuge in these piles for the rodents. You know, everyone seems to be winning. How am I doing on battery power? All right, we got 6% left. I'm gonna round this bend up here. I'm gonna get as far as I can on this battery before I change it. See if I can't finish this walk here on these two batteries. That would be heroic. We're past the halfway point of the walk in total. This promenade is quite lovely, and the sun has been very cooperative. It's about to rain here in about an hour, so this little window of sparkling sunlight is a real gift, so you guys can get a feel for just how beautiful it is here when you clear the land and these sunbeams come through. This is the Oak Glen Bend right here in this path. Got my new chainsaw out the other day. I got a fantastic new chainsaw, a Stihl 500i, if that says anything to anybody, and it is a beast. And in 2 hours, I just went through and just blazed through this and chopped up all this stuff so that I can move it over that ridge and open up this beautiful glen here, which is 90% red oak trees. And so I thought a bench would be nice right there for people. And that's a nice place to sit. It's going to be a really nice place to sit when this gets cleared out. I mean, that's just going to be crazy gorgeous. And that's now that I've cut them up into manageable chunks, you know, that's a couple of days I can have that completely beautiful. That's like 3 days I can have this looking like amazing, crazy pristine. All right, we're gonna come just up over this ridge. I'm gonna change battery. We're gonna bring this baby home, see if we can't do this. This holly tree was so sick about a year ago, and it is doing so good now. So good. Such healthy leaves now. I'm so happy. That's gonna be a great tree. Very exciting. I mean, the trees here are just popping off, and they are so happy. You know, they all have more light, they all have more nutrients, they all have more water. You know, they're not really fighting against each other. They're kind of working with each other for the most part, it feels like. The animals are responding. Everyone's talking about how everyone's seeing more wildlife in the area now. It's exciting times. It's very exciting times. So anyway, I'm going to come up to this bench here, and at this next intersection, this is the other intersection on the west side of the easement, the public easement that I cut in for folks, the yellow path. We're crossing it going homeward now. Right up here is the intersection. I will change the battery, and then on we go. On we will go. How are we doing? Yep, 1%. Changing the battery now. Just a moment, please. All right, outstanding. Change the battery. I got 20% on this battery, which means I should be able to flow right to the end of this walk and get it all in for you guys, which makes me happy. This area here is really coming together. This vibe right here is how this entire valley is going to look once the stuff gets either put in this serpentine wall with the head of the snake, quote unquote, is right here, and it undulates along the north side of the valley here. That's the east side of the valley, sorry. Yes. And so this is all going to get picked up here. And yeah, it really is coming together. It really is coming together. And I like to clean up around the intersections where the paths cross. So I'm going to clean up this detritus here, put it all here. These critter piles, you know, not only are effective ways to help the wildlife and to collect the stuff that you cut, they also can provide nice energetic walls or guides between paths. So they all, or serve as an artistic purpose, like that serpentine path back in Serenity Valley is going to be a very artistic to look at. I think very pleasant to look at from up above that bench on that ridge back there. So, you know, you can't carry this stuff too far because it's so dang heavy and there's so much of it, so you have to find a place to put it somewhere. And if you don't have a gully or a hole, and there's not really any of those around here, you have to find a space that either serves the critters and or the aesthetic and or the vibe, you know, and or all three. And so that's the purpose to, you know, the placement of the critter piles. It's funny too how the paths look so nice right after they're blown with the leaf blower, even though it's hardly any pine needles or leaves. Now it's acorns now. There's going to be a huge acorn dump. It's already starting from the oak trees. And so these paths can be covered in places with acorns. So it's nice that it's nice and soft. Weekend's coming up too. There'll be a lot of people walking these paths this weekend. So gonna have a beautiful garden spot, meditation spot by that beautiful beach you can see in the backdrop. It's still under construction, so I won't show you that today. This, I've done some work in this glen, the glowing cherry glen. There's a black cherry right around the corner that is majestic, and its leaves come up right into that hole surrounded by those eastern white pines, which are very dark trees with light, and then the light shines through those cherry leaves, black cherry leaves, and this whole place just glows yellow-green when the light's just right. It really is something in there. Also work in progress. That's going to take about 4 or 5 days to finish that. So hopefully I'll be able to show you that to you guys. I don't know if I'll be able to get to it in the next 8 weeks. I don't, maybe. I would love to get that finished in time for the fall videos, which I'll be making in about 8 weeks time. Maybe 9 weeks. How are we doing on this battery? Oh, we're doing great. We're gonna make it. We are gonna make it, people. Fantastic. Gosh, so happy about that. So here's the last of the 4 intersections. Now we're crossing the purple easement, the original easement, going the other direction back towards the house. Headed northwards now. And Three Brothers Cafe is down there, and Lake Michigan is through there. And we are walking straight to finish the loop. Head back to the homestead. We've done a lot of clearing out in here, trying to open up these gorgeous Scott's pines, which are hard to tell right now how gorgeous they are. When the sun hits these guys just right, they glow orange, those big orange pine trees like that one, and they're interspersed all back in there. So I'm clearing out the adolescent sugar maple and as many of the sassafras as I can in here, so that this view becomes kind of super artistic. I think that's going to be really lovely when I get done with that. And the final coup de grace of this loop, one of them, but the mother maple is something special. This sugar maple here, it's called mother maple. For those of you who've seen these videos before, you know all about her. And boy, is she getting crazy happy. I don't know if you can tell, but if you start comparing the look of this tree 2 years ago to how she looks now, I mean, that tree is insane. By far, I think you can say that, by far the tallest tree and the most massive tree on the property. There are some trees in the ravine proper that did not get clear cut back 130 years ago when the clear cutting happened to rebuild Chicago after the Great Fire. There are some trees in the ravine proper that rival this tree in massiveness, but few rival this tree in terms of just beauty. That's why she gets 3 benches, she gets 3 quotes, she gets a huge glen, and I mean, that's just majestic. That's just something else. She is something else, huh? Wow. And actually it started as 2 trees, which you can see. There's a 2-trunk primary tree here with a 3rd spur coming off here, and then right there's a fuse point, and that right there is the other tree that started. So it was 2 maple trees that started. So this was a separate tree right here. And then very quickly, and they fused not only at the base right here, they fused right here, like fused. Like, I don't know if you can see that. I mean, that is completely fused together all the way up. That entire section has been fused, and they have become, those 2 have become one. And of course, each one of them, the one is a single trunk tree. This one right here is a single trunk, fused to this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 multi-spur tree. Anyway, that's Mother Maple right there. Hi, Mother Maple. This is a great spot. That's a great spot to hang out. Great spot to hang out. All right, we're coming to the end right as the battery's about to go out. Some of you might have remembered in May, I think that big pine tree fell in a storm and got hung up in that oak tree. And that was going to be a really tricky drop, but another storm came finally a few weeks ago and cut it down, and I diced it up. So I'll move all of this detritus over into that pile and open this up to its beauty again. And we come up here to the driveway, my friends, and we have finished Tranquility Loop, the summer of 2026, August 21st, 2026 version of Tranquility Loop. So in 9 weeks, plus minus, when I find a window when the leaves have turned hopefully just right, and this place is literally aglow, I will make the fall set of videos for 2026, and we'll see how much I can get done in the next 9 weeks. I think I'm going to be able to get a lot done. Things have been really moving lately, and I've been felt really fit. I've had a lot of energy, and a lot is getting done now, and it's exciting times. So there's the end of the path. Look at that. Look at that. Here's the driveway. There's the gazebo over there, and the tennis court and the house. And we made it back. All right, here's sign number 40 again, which I will be reading to everyone, all the 40 signs coming up soon in their own series of videos. All right, panning around. Here we are. Hi. All right, well done. Boy, am I happy the battery held out. Nice job, everybody. So you got a feel for it now. That's what's been going on. And like I said, I'm just so thrilled with this work. I love doing it. I love that people are loving it. Just as I was about to start this video, I was walking with my batteries back to that intersection to make this part 2 video, and there were 7 beautiful people walking in the labyrinth and just enjoying the space, and it just makes me really happy. I mean, primarily I was doing it for the animals who love it, you know. So I've always felt good about the work because the trees and the land and the animals loved it from the beginning. But to have so many of my fellow human friends enjoying it, it's real special. It means a lot. It's really, I hope that everyone who comes to visit this place feels at one with the oneness, you know, and maybe becomes inspired to be kinder to strangers, maybe becomes inspired to kind of stand against the man who is oppressing the weak, who maybe becomes inspired to go vegan and live in a way that does not further animal cruelty and animal abuse, who maybe becomes inspired to just be a force for peace in these times that can, you know, sometimes feel not so peaceful, you know. So I like to think this land is doing some work and that I'm helping it do some work. That's how I'm feeling. Anyway, love you guys. I hope you're doing great, and I will see you in 9 weeks for the next series, for the fall series. Peace out. Go be kind. Go be kind. Bye-bye.